Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. Hope you all enjoyed your meals. It's yet another tribute to the professionalism of the Samuel Griffith Society that we are running bang on time. So congratulations to everybody. So I'm Scott Hargreaves, Executive Director of the Institute of Public Affairs. It is an honour and a privilege to be asked to move a vote of thanks. It's a double honour. Firstly, of course, for this magnificent institution represented here tonight that we've had such a long involvement with, and of course the honour of paying particular tribute to our esteemed speaker, John Anderson, and in passing also, of course, Amanda Stoker, who we love very much and who, like John, has found a way to make a contribution outside Parliament in the way that she made a contribution in Parliament, although we hope to get Amanda back in due course. But I have been asked to move a vote of thanks, and perhaps for those who just wanted a little bit more background why the Institute of Public Affairs was so willing to do what it could to support that great group of people who wanted to establish it just over 30 years ago. The original objects of the Institute of Public Affairs, I dug them out today when it was formed in 1943. The very first one was to uphold loyalty to the King and constitutional government. Yeah, that's all right. And of course, thanks to the sad passing of Her late Majesty, we can now use that exact phrase once again. And of course, the Brits swear allegiance to the King and Americans to the Constitution. In Australia, we do both because it is the King in Council. It is a system of representative and accountable government. There were 16 objects. I won't go through them all, but needless to say, number 3, written in 1943 in the middle of a war with censorship, command and control economy, was to maintain liberty of speech, religion and association, and to preserve freedom of the press. So these were the foundational values of the IPA, and when this conception was formed, John Stone was a senior fellow at the IPA, became the convener, and there's much more I need to find out about the history, but they certainly wouldn't have happened without John. I had actually met John when I was working as a National Party staffer. He came down as a senator must have been 1993 with the task of educating all the Nationals in Victoria about Fightback and to explain it so that we could explain it to other people. I think he came and left still being the only person in Victoria who understood Fightback. He may still be the only person in the country that understands Fightback, but he certainly tried, and he is a great man that but I won't say any more because Stuart did a wonderful job of honouring his work. I was going to say, I'll try and be brief because I know the hour is late, and if I could stretch a metaphor for the pessimists in the room worried about the civilisation, it's very late, it's perhaps 2 minutes to midnight. But for what I understand is 30% of the room are aged under 30. As John said, they are the hope of the side, and for them, the party's just getting started. There's a world to be won, and we certainly wish you all the very best with that. And who better, of course, exemplifying the energy and optimism of young people than Xavier, who is doing just such a fantastic job, and what a find. To thank John, who was introduced so ably by Amanda, great representative of the tradition of farmer statesmen. As someone who comes off a farm, it's great to see someone from the team in that great tradition that is venerated in the USA, with the example of Cincinnatus that the George Washington had and tried to emulate, and so many have since. Victor Davis Hanson, one of your frequent guests, has talked about the importance of the farmer statesman in the Western tradition, and you, sir, are very much carrying that on today, which we all appreciate. I myself am not a lawyer, although I did in a desire to learn more about our great constitutional order, I went and did a Masters in Law. You didn't need an undergraduate degree. And I learnt two things. One was I studied environmental law and discovered a discipline which has not one trace of the common law in it, and which has moved on from judge-made law to activist and academic-made law, dedicated to shutting down the country. The other one was, for some giggles, I did a subject on comparative constitutional law across the Asia Pacific and studied the constitution of China, where I discovered the wonderful tradition, very old tradition in Chinese jurisprudence of legalism, which essentially means that the important thing is that all actions that the government undertakes need to be underpinned by law, and all actions underpinned by law are therefore okay and just. This is what it looks like in the absence of a countervailing tradition of common law. The British Constitution that this wonderful organisation is carrying on the torch for. We at the IPA published just before lockdown a book called Summoning Magna Carta by Dr. Zachary Gorman, who's now with another great institution at the Robert Menzies Institute. It was called Summoning Magna Carta because it basically said all the principles that will be discussed this weekend aren't much use if they don't live in the hearts of the people, that operate our justice system, that sit in our parliaments, and that act as ministers of the Crown. So that is the spirit we're trying to rekindle. No single institution can do it on their own. I'm reminded of William F. Buckley, who in America in another generation tried not just to start his own institutions, but a little bit similar to Hugh Morgan, who was referred to earlier by Stuart, recognised that there needed to be a series of organisations, what William F. Buckley Jr. called an archipelago of meeting places. And this is very much one of the great islands of freedom in that archipelago in Australia. And now, of course, John Anderson's Conversations is another. I checked this morning, 77,000 subscribers, which is just astounding, over 80 million views. So that is absolutely amazing and terrific. Thank you, John. And just once again to quote somebody else, there was some in this room will remember a great servant, Minister of the Crown in Victoria called Robert McClelland. And he told me once that on his passport, he didn't say politician or minister, it said parliamentarian. He was very keen to say that it wasn't his crowning glory to be a Minister of the Crown, it was to be a parliamentarian in our system of government, responsible government, and it requires, to be a good parliamentarian, qualities of deliberation, of care, and of responsibility. I think it's a very Burkean sort of conception, and whatever John Anderson's very distinguished record of achievement in Parliament and as Deputy Prime Minister, I think Amanda was exactly right to call out the qualities of the man rather than merely list achievements, because that is actually what we need of our parliamentarians. It's that set of understandings, the ability to listen, the upright man making decisions on behalf of us all, weighing up the conflicting values, protecting our country against external threats, looking to the future, looking to the next generation. And for that reason alone, ladies and gentlemen, would you please, by acclamation, thank our esteemed guest speaker, the Honourable John Anderson.